everyone. I am so excited to introduce my guest today, who many of you already know, Daina Vaiciute, a spiritual realignment healer and practitioner from Lithuania. She's also amazing teacher. Hi, Daina.
Hi, hello.
How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Yeah, we are waiting for you to come here in just in a few weeks. But probably for those who have not met you or have not heard about spiritual realignment, can you tell us more about this method and how did you get to it yourself?
Yeah, spiritual realignment has been discovered or revealed 30 years ago to our teacher who resides currently in Germany, in Berlin. The spiritual realignment, what it means. Our body gets realigned, whatever is in blockage level is released, and the skeleton gains its symmetry. We can observe from the physical level that very often we have uneven shoulders, also tilted shoulder blades, as well as tilted pelvis and scoliotic spine. Some people, 1 out of 4, have axial twist of spine. So those kind of deformations can easily be removed by purely energy work, without any touch, without any manipulation of physical body. And this transformation is detectable, visible, and stable. As long as you are in this body, you already have this transformation in it.
So you're saying everyone um, have some kind of realignment, this disalignment, I would say, in the body, either in
Yeah,
the spinal cord or shoulders or
yes, majority of people, or I can tell you that maybe all the people have a kind of misalignment because we have a long history in physical matter in our bodies and in this body as well. So whatever we were doing or not doing, whatever we were thinking, our matter, our physical body reflects it, and kind of deformations are being developed in the form of blockages, and it's reflected in our skeleton asymmetry. So those kind of deformations are immediately released. It's a matter of a second, without any touch, without any manipulation of the body. And we have it. This transformation is stable and detectable, as I said, with all like equipment, medical equipment. X-ray shows this transformation, also computed tomography and MRI. So all the equipment show this kind of transformation. Not only our eyes and mirror.
well, it's real miracle. Can you tell us how did you discover it? How did it help you?
I had some issues with my right hip and also with my blood contents and blood structure. And I was looking the way out of my situation for quite a number of years, and finally I exhausted all the traditional medicine like techniques and just remained in the same position where I started. So then I somehow bit by bit discovered other additional methods of healing. I discovered Reiki, and Reiki led me to the teacher who discovered spiritual realignment, and I went through it. So after the realignment, I've never experienced my hip displacement. So 9 years have already passed since that moment, and my problem was completely solved, and it was solved since the very first day after realignment. So somehow I got even pushed into this method. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought that I just start practicing it and become a teacher, but just everything developed in such a way and configured in such a way that I'm in the place where I'm now.
So then, after you were healed, you had to go through the training, and I understand there are like 5 levels plus attunement in to become a spiritual realignment practitioner.
Yes, everybody who is willing and practicing can reach the level, can learn and reach the level where the realignment happens. And step by step, I also gained this knowledge. And yeah, as you said, that there are 5 levels to the final attunement to realignment. So it takes quite of time to get adjusted to those kind of energies, transcendental energies, and it might take over a year, but it's possible. It's possible to achieve for everybody.
Yeah, and we actually witnessed already 2 groups of people who passed the level 1 here in Chicago at SunGates Center, and one group of level already passed the level 2. So they're really looking forward to level 3, where they're going to have to deal with crystals, and this is amazing energy.
Yeah, we will start with crystal consciousness during the next meeting. So
Hmm.
it would be a new and good experience for everybody who participates in this level of courses.
Great, super. How so? Is there an age limit for those who want to be realigned?
Well, actually, there's no age limit. From babies, toddlers to seniors. My oldest patient was 94, and the youngest was still in just mom's womb. So there's no age limit. There's no age limit, and the transformation happens. Measurable transformation happens to everybody. Yeah, we can see a baby like, well, 6 or 7 months old, and we can already see that the wrinkles on the legs do not coincide before realignment, and after realignment the body gains perfect symmetry, and the wrinkles on ankles, on the knees, on the buttocks, they coincide after realignment. That there's no hip displacement, and there's no like bone difference in length of legs. Perfect symmetry is restored after the realignment. So it
So,
happened in a small baby who never sat at the desk or carried a bag on one shoulder, as we tend to think that we develop kind of deformations during our life habits, but we come like this into our existence, into the matter. We have already different types of deformations on our skeleton level.
so basically, you would say that every baby who would go through spiritual realignment session uh, will never have to do it again.
Basically, I've still never experienced that deformation just returns to its previous level. Transformation happens always and it's stable. And I measured quite a number of people who were realigned 5 or 6 years ago, because I've been working over 6 years already. So I had the chance to remeasure after some years the people who were realigned previously. So none of them just got misaligned again. And I also remeasured some people who were realigned some 14 or 15 years ago, and they're perfectly symmetrical. So I can say that this realignment stays, and when it's made to a little child, the deformations normally do not build up, because the skeleton deformations become more obvious in the teenager. So when the skeleton builds up and reaches the measurements of an adult person, but if the baby or a small child or school child is realigned, so this kind of deformation as we see as scoliosis, so we do not have it in our body. So it's very beneficial for everybody to get realigned in young age, because then we have more healthy life. And what it means, the realignment restores the axis which coincides with our spinal cord, our central energetic axis, and the energy flow circulates without any obstacles and energizes each vertebra, which sends the impulse to the reflexive zone, because each vertebra represents a certain internal organ or organ group, and energizes properly, sends the proper impulse to the body systems. So it's a kind of self-healing process is induced from inside, and it has no side effects, no negative side effects as some medicine can have.
So can you tell us what is shown on this picture? What do you do during the realignment? What do you measure?
Typically, body is measured in 3 positions. In a standing position, we can measure the tilt of shoulders, also tilt of shoulder blade tips. Then we measure the hips. If there is a tilt of hip bones, the pelvic tilt, and the spine line, because the spine curves according to the position of the shoulder blades and hips and pelvis. So if those parts are misaligned, our spine also gets scoliotic. So in a standing position, we can measure those kind of things, as I said, shoulders, shoulder blade tips, and hips, and also the spine line. We cannot measure the length of legs in a standing position. Then we measure the body in a sitting position. When the hips are pressed to the surface, we can see, in case of pelvic tilt, we can see that our legs are of different length. And if the length of legs remains the same in a sitting and in a laying position, it means that there's no axial twist. When the length of legs changes, when the body position is changed from sitting to laying, it means that also axial twist of the spine is present, because it's not always possible to determine it in a standing position. So that's why we measure the body in 3 positions. And realignment happens when a person lays on a flat, firm surface. It happens instantly. Pelvis misalignment gets corrected, and as an effect, the length of legs becomes the same, because normally we have the same length of bones. Just because of the pelvis tilt, our legs appear to be of different length. So it's very visible, obvious in a laying position. So when realignment happens and our pelvis position is restored back to normal, the length of legs immediately becomes the same, and it happens in a second, without any touch, without any manipulation of physical body, without any pulling, pushing, and without any harm to the body.
Yeah, this is a real miracle because as many times as I watched that, it's still can hard to believe that it just happened, and so many people experience transformation in others' body system of the body. What could be, as we say, good side effects of the realignment?
So those good side effects, well, what may happen? Our herniated spine discs, our hernias may disappear. I had quite a number of cases where those kind of issues were solved with realignment. Also back aches, when there is pelvis tilt present, and in combination with axial twist of spine, we have big tensions in our waist area, and normally we develop pains, and it's difficult for us to sit for a lengthy period in any position, on a chair, in a car seat, or like during flights where we have like limited ability to change the body position, or to move or walk or stand up. So we notice that the tensions and pains build up in those kind of positions. It means that our body is misaligned, and we develop different problems. After realignment, immediately what we can notice that our waist area tensions and pains are removed, and also in case of shoulder blade tilt, the tension from the shoulder area is also removed, and scoliotic spine, whatever is in blockage level, is removed and corrected, and people feel the effect immediately. And also what may occur, as we know, each our vertebra is a reflexive zone of certain internal organs, and as a very common rule, we build up some kind of illness or have a weak place in the reflexive zone of that vertebra, which is under deformation or under blockage. So when the blockages are removed from our spine areas, the reflexive zones also tend to heal. So it's a kind of self healing process of the body is induced, because when we restore the energy flow, we energize and heal our internal organs and all bodily systems. So it happens naturally as we continue our life in this body. And speaking about the healing session which follows the realignment, because realignment itself happens in a part of a second, it's immediate, instant. The healing session follows, and it might be similar to some other traditional energy healing sessions, but it's a kind of more advanced and more powerful. First of all, what happens, we work with the person's head, placing our hands on or near the head. It's not necessary to touch any part of the body. It can be done in a kind of distance or moderate distance when the person is present, and during the work with the head and head structures, the synchronization of brain hemispheres happens, and also synchronization of the glands of our head, the kind of synchronization of our central computer, and also we work with the remaining endocrinic system and the internal organs, also joints, particularly with our knee joints, because knees are like our sensitive place of the body, and we tend to develop different issues in our knees as a very common case. So I work with the knees with a special power and attitude. So basically, speaking about the physical expression of the body, we work with all the body systems and with central energy axis. And the session is not limited to the physical body. We also work with our emotional body and our mental expression, because our problems very often tend to develop in our mental body or in our mental sphere, because our thought has power. Our thought is material, and our thought is able to make impact on the matter. And very often it's our body, our matter, which gets impacted first. And when we dissolve some issues in our mental level, they never reach our physical body, our physical expression. So transformation happens in our subtle bodies also during the healing session, and people very often feel it, and sometimes they even can get sleepy because they get really deeply relaxed. And it also happens without any manipulation of the body, just purely with energy.
Great. So on this picture, we can see that the shoulder blades, so shoulders were really on the angle before the realignment, and very straight line after. And actually, this person had very strong back pain for a long time after the accident, right? As I remember right. And it just
Yeah,
huge relief after.
this person had like, well, back aches for 4 decades, and the ability to move and live actively and do some active physical work was also kind of restricted. And after realignment, well, the majority of pain issues in the back area were fixed. And as you see in this picture after realignment, on the right, the picture on the right side shows that, well, the shoulders are parallel to the surface, also shoulder blade tips. It's very obvious. You can see that in the first picture there's a tilt in shoulders and shoulder blades. The right side is lower, the left side is a bit up, and there's a tilt angle about an inch in that visible expression between the shoulder blades. And after realignment, placing the ruler below the shoulder blade tips, well, the picture shows that, well, the body is perfectly aligned from the point of shoulders and shoulder blade tips, and happened instantly, in a second.
You've probably seen lots of miracles. How many do you know how many people approximately been through realignment with you?
Well, in general, there are hundreds of thousands of people who have been realigned. The majority of those people are in German-speaking countries, in Germany first, in Austria, Switzerland, and also Luxembourg. And there are some people also in other countries. And just we can say that, well, there are hundreds of thousands of people over the world, and in some countries those numbers are limited to some tens of thousands, but the process is happening. Healers are working, and there are like around 300 healers all over the world who can just do this kind of transformation, who can initiate this kind of transformation. And the number of
growing.
People is growing. Yeah, is building up.
Yeah, this is amazing, and I think it's still a miracle how is that happen. So we are waiting for Dinah to come here to Chicago to see everyone who would like to go through realignment session, and we have a free presentation workshop on October 14 at 6:30, and everyone welcome to participate and see with your own eye how the realignment happened. It'll be a demo on one of those who will win the lottery. We'll have a lottery here, and one lucky one will have a free realignment. So everybody welcome. And one more thing, realignment also happened in a distance, right? You don't have to be present. Does it work the same, or is there difference?
In general, we do not touch the body. So the distance has no is not a limiting maybe factor to realignment. Realignment happens through distance as well, but just it's kind of a matter of proof or a matter of demonstration. Because when we know our deformations, we can recognize and acknowledge our transformation. But anyway, transformation happens always, and it's subtle and gentle. Sometimes people do not have clearly expressed bodily sensations because it's really sudden and very subtle in a way. There might be some sensations. Some people have very explicit sensations, but some people they do not have. But transformation happens. Transformation happens, and if the body is remeasured or measured again after realignment, so we can see that those kind of deformations which are in blockage level, they are not present anymore. It means that tilted shoulders, tilted shoulder blades, tilted pelvis, scoliotic spine, whatever happens to be in the blockage level is removed and restored back to normal. I have to say that, well, the length of bones does not change if we have different length of ribs and if we happen to have different length of collarbones and shoulders. Sometimes it happens. So in this respect, the length of bones does not change, but the symmetry, like if we measure the symmetry to the parallel surface to the floor, like well, the symmetry of shoulders, shoulder blades, hips, this kind of symmetry is always restored.
Great, great. That sounds amazing. Okay, thank you, Dinah, and we look forward to see you here for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Great, super. Okay, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.